Down to at the Bahrain International Circuit. Yeah, I'm here with Adam. Hello, Adam.
Hello guys, how are we all doing? Hope you're all looking forward to the next instalment of Formula Euro League here at the Sakir International Circuit in Bahrain.
Yeah, we're here. There should be 20 drivers, but we have still 3 minutes remaining. So it should be good. We have in the Mercedes the duo for 4 seasons long, Michael and Simon. In the Ferrari, we have no one. Thomas has to be in the Ferrari. He's leaving Ferrari next season, so quite early announcement. And he won last time out in Australia. Sorry, Sam, the Red Bull reserve, is taking over from Tim to see what he can do. No, sorry, he's overtaking Sam because Sam isn't available to race. In Renault, we have Danny Hetkamper and Joran. Danny, who scored a good 5th place from last on the grid last race, so he's done a really good job. We have Monster and Karen Monster looking really fast in times. We're also fine in the practice sessions. We have Mikey and Steve making his return, his first race for McLaren. We have in the Racing Point Ice-T, and we still have to wait on Kai. In the Alpha, we have Matthias and Bendel. Still no points for the Alpha team. In the Toros, we have Donkey, who got a good point scoring finish last time out in Australia in his debut for Torosso, and he's waiting on Lorenzo Bandini. And in the Williams, we have the reigning champions Luke and Felix, who failed to score points in the last round, so hopefully they can do better for their Williams team.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpick from the first race in Australia, of course. A new season for Formula Euro League Season 5, and remember guys, it's going to be the transition between the 2019 game and the 2020 game, which obviously we'll have to keep an eye on later on this season when that game comes out. But from the Australian Grand Prix, Matthias, it seemed that our champion Thomas FIFA picked up where he left off from Season 4, winning in Australia. First time out for Ferrari since he's returned to the team. Yeah. And of course, a very illustrious set of drivers that have also won for Ferrari on their debut, although this would be Thomas's second Ferrari debut. But he definitely showed his class. Now we know that our Doppelganger, his teammate, is going to be running him very ragged into this season, and obviously was not able to show similar qualities, but we do know that Thomas, what he lacks in qualifying, Matthias, he certainly more than makes up for in the race. And what we did see from that race was a lot of quick guys. We saw the 2 racing points of Kai, Eltink and Ice-T really take it to Ferraris and get on the podium, but they just weren't able to maintain that race pace. Of course, we had Luke in the Williams, the man brought in to replace the Season 4 champion FIFA at Williams, and of course did a brilliant job early on in Australia until unfortunately got it wrong and put it in the wall. And of course we had the issues with Felix as well. So there's a lot of drivers that really need to overturn their fortunes from last week's race and really try and get it right for the Bahrain Grand Prix, and obviously a great opportunity with this extended calendar to put that right now. So for some of the guys, it's going to be carry on doing what you're doing, keep building on what you did in Australia. For the rest, it's an opportunity now to start again, a fresh start, and really get their championship campaigns underway.
Yeah, let me see if we have some new drivers. It's time to ready up. Yeah, only Sam. Sam should be a fast driver. He's the VRL Season 4 champion, so high expectations from his team boss and himself. Didn't really spoke to him, but I think he wants to get a good race, and let's see what he can do. And yeah, I've heard some rumors. Tim might be leaving Red Bull.
Well, he's certainly got a very well qualified replacement in Sem, as you mentioned, champion of another league, VRL, for Season 4. Excellent driver. Of course, he was racing in a race that I commentated on earlier today, and won that race as well, alongside Tim, who did come runner-up in that event. So it's definitely a driver that can certainly fill Tim's shoes, and I'm expecting Sem to show some good pace in Red Bull. Yeah. Definitely a contender for the win. For those of you that are not familiar with Sem, Don't be surprised if he's contending for a race win. If anything, he may be one of the favourites today, despite being unknown to Formula Euroleague for some time. Nonetheless, we are about to get underway for qualifying for Formula Euroleague, and of course you are watching us live on the Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/Formula_Euro_League. Remember, Formula Euroleague has migrated over to streaming on the Twitch channel, and of course if you are watching us on YouTube, you will know that your videos are coming out a day later than normal, but you can still watch us on Twitch. Make sure to go to that address I mentioned earlier, twitch.tv/Formula_Euro_League, to watch us live on Twitch at the normal time. And of course, make sure to like, share and subscribe to both on Twitch and on YouTube, and you'll be able to see all the action for Formula Euroleague Division 1, Division 2 and of course our new Division 3, which is going very, very nicely after having its Bahrain Grand Prix the other day.
This is, I think, might be the 20th time in a row, or highly in a maybe 16, 17, 18, 19th time we have 20 drivers starting on this Grand Prix grid. So yeah, I'm really looking excited for it. I think the races we've seen, 20 drivers are the Mercedes boys, Thomas, and a lot of other guys, so thank them, and I hope for another good round.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let us know, guys, in the chat as well, if you're watching us live on Twitch. Who do you think is going to get pole position? Who do you think is going to get the win? There's such a growing level, such a growing caliber of drivers to this roster, as you said, Matthias. A full roster, very, very strong looking grid, and it'll be interesting to see who can get on the pole. Of course, Sem joining us in the Red Bull team alongside Tim Wenting, a familiar favourite. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be a very strong looking team. I was purring over the Ferrari lineup, but that Red Bull team is looking pretty tasty right now. No disrespect to VRT Sam, who a very quick driver in his own right, come fourth in Australia, so we know he's got pace, but Sem in that Red Bull is definitely a driver more than capable of filling VRT Sam's shoes. So let us know, guys, who you think is going to be on pole position. Who do you think is going to win? This man that I'm watching at the moment, Matty's Gamer.
Yeah, he's
How do we think he's going to fare?
I think he's a good contender for points.
Yeah, absolutely. Plenty of contender. Of course, the Bahrain Grand Prix been on the Formula 1 calendar for some time now. So three DRS zones, of course, have run down into turn 1. We're expecting a lot of overtaking, and of course, turn 10 and 11. And then, of course, all the way... and excluding the second one, I should mention, turn 3 and turn 4. The two areas in particular I'm expecting a lot of overtaking are the first 2 DRS points.
Yeah. Also, can you maybe show tires? Yeah, I'll show the best. Matthias is the first one probably to set a lap time. We have Felix as well on the lap, Simon, Mikey, Karen, Headcamper, Benjamin and Luke on the lap. As you see, Matthias a bit struggling and breaking up or locking up here and there. It is a tricky circuit for the anti-lock brakes, especially in the really tight left hand there, where you go downwards in the braking zone. So it's a difficult corner. We might even see some guys overtake someone there, but I reckon we see a lot of lockups done there, as Matthias is almost finishing his lap, approaching the final corner, braking at the 75-meter board, something like that, being a bit slidey through the final corner.
There's a lot of correction going on that lap.
Opening up the air, good enough for 124.9.
Or 129.4, yes.
Yeah,
so,
just about.
No, you're absolutely right, Matthias. As Felix goes faster, and we've seen Headcamper. Danny Headcamper, who raced in the Formula Euroleague Division 2 race today, got it on the podium, so did a good job until his penalty did relegate him to 4th position. So he drove a pretty good race there. Hopefully for him, he'll want to keep that going in this race for the Renault team. Of course, last time out in the Australian Grand Prix, finished 5th place with the fastest lap as well. So Danny Headcamper definitely improving his pace.
Have to underbrake you, Thomas. Fastest so far, 128.5. Lucas, no, I didn't have the new microphone. Well, I got earbuds and the quality isn't too bad, but I'll hopefully buy a new one when I have enough money. Sam, the newcomer in Red Bull, entering the final corner. I don't think it's going to be a competitive lap. Oh no, I think it is. It's going to be good enough for maybe a new pole time. Yes, it is. 128.4, so that's a good lap. Almost just 500ths of a second in front of his feral competitor Thomas.
So just as I said before, Sam as Monster goes fastest, so 128.3. That's a very good time from Monster. Monster's been very reliable on hard tyres in the race.
Yeah, he looked good in time trial in the practice session. So everyone was hyping me up for get a podium, that kind of stuff.
Well, he's certainly showing that practice makes perfect. He's absolutely nailed that lap. And of course, interesting to note, Matthias, that a lot of the drivers here are going for the harder tyres in qualifying. It seems like, thankfully for them, a lot of their counterparts are going the same way. So that might work for them. Of course, a difficult race on tyres. The one stopper is possible, and it is the fastest strategy. However, it's very difficult. Yeah, exactly. It's very difficult to do that on the soft tyres, and it's slow as well. You're better off trying to do it on the mediums to hard, but of course, as this race develops, you may find a lot of guys are going to go the other way, try to go hard to mediums, but for that to work, they need to rely on everybody else to do the same thing. However, don't be surprised, guys, as you're watching this now thinking, oh, everyone's going to start on the hard tyres. Don't be surprised if there's a few Mavericks in there, might chuck on the mediums and then upset the balance, which will in turn cause a domino effect where everyone else will slap on a fresh set of mediums at the end. So these are more like bank laps right now. Don't expect pole position to be a 128.3.
No, I think we even get into the 126s, 127 lows, maybe on the mediums, as Donkey aka Yes is crossing the line in 11th place. So they're also looking strong in 10 and 11th. Steve and Tim are on the lap, but Tim is, I think, aborting it. Yes, he is. Oh no, he isn't. But it's not a good lap. It's 137.4. Then we'll go on board with Steve making his return in his beautiful McLaren. And he invalidated it. Oei.
Yeah, Steve joining us, obviously departed from Ferrari last season after a less than impressive campaign by man of his standards. Of course, very competitive in Formula Euroleague, a champion of Formula Euroleague, let's not forget. So a driver of his caliber and experience obviously needed to seek pastures new, and it's great to have him back in the McLaren seat. I'm sure hopefully the season will be a lot better for him. For those of you asking in the chat, why is there a second Formula Euroleague account? Well, Formula Euroleague 2, well, we have a few accounts. Just Formula Euroleague 2 is a partnered league with Formula Euroleague, obviously not the same, but nonetheless represents its second tier as a separate entity. There's also the Xbox League as well. Do make sure to check that out if you are an Xbox user, or even if you're not. It's still all the same, good quality racing for Formula Euroleague, so make sure to check that out too. But yes, there's a lot going on there, but plenty all fitting in with the Formula Euroleague franchise, so definitely check that out if you have time. And, which is one thing we all seem to have a lot of at the moment, this time. So, just following through the field now, of course, we've got Joran in the Renault at the back on the medium tyres. Joran, a good, reliable runner. Obviously, didn't work out for him too well in Australia, was a bit unfortunate. But he's definitely showing that he's a lot more comfortable.
Oh, Monster goes again fast with an absolutely amazing lap.
Yeah, well, I did say pole wasn't going to be a 128.3, and Monster has found about 6/10 of a second.
Jesus, that's a really good lap from him.
And I can see in the chat that some of you guys are a bit surprised as to how Monster has been improving a lot, especially towards the tail end of Season 4 of Formula Euroleague, most notably performances in Australia this season and Mexico as well. Obviously, he's got 8th place in Australia. And he's been going from strength to strength, and I think it just pays dividends and tribute to being able to put the time in, being able to practice, learn where you can improve, and you can go out and put in a performance like that. Excellent stuff from Monster. Of course, that may prompt some of the other drivers to put on the medium tyres, because right now, as you can see, Simon, literally in Bok Tormens, as I predicted, has nailed it on pole position on the medium tyres, 127.6, and Joran, who was at the back, is now 3rd fastest. So we're starting to see, Matthias, some of the other drivers at the tail end of the field putting on the medium tyres, setting these fast times. This may prompt some of our front runners to do the same thing now. Put the medium tyres on.
Yeah, Thomas is on the mediums.
Exactly. So this is where it is. A lot of guys have put their banker laps in, and now they're going to put the medium tyres on and go out and set a quick time, which they will hopefully start the race on these set of tyres. They won't have many sets of the mediums to use, so it's important that they get it right first time, so they don't compromise their race at this point in time. But plenty of time left, guys. 8 minutes to go. Let us know who you think is going to get on pole position, and who you think is going to win this race, of course. We've still got the 50% race to come following this, and as we all know, points are awarded in the race, not in qualifying, so plenty to look forward to.
Yeah, Thomas getting a little bit of a slipstream from his old Ferrari teammate as he's approaching the final corner, getting nicely through it, not like Matthias did. He has no correction to be made, and I think it's going to be provisional pole 127.641, just in front of us, Dr. Mens. Good lap, and who we'll go on board with? We'll go on board with Sam, who is on the lap on the hard tires again.
Sam obviously trusting his strategy at the moment, clearly not intimidated or balked by the fact that Darth Vader has just gone a second faster.
Yeah.
On the medium tyres. So that's the kind of delta we're looking at between the hards and the mediums. So it's around about a second from what Darth Vader has done, although realistically it's more like 8/10. So it'd be interesting to see what some of the others do. Of course, Sem, in order for this to work for him, needs to qualify in the top 10. You really don't want to be qualifying outside of there to make this work out for him. But let's see how he does. He's improved in the first 2 sectors as he comes through the final corner now, shifting down into 3rd gear temporarily, quickly up shifting to 4th to stabilise the rear, and then back on the power as he now opens up the DRS, comes across the line now. He's improved 2 times faster, but stays 5th.
Yeah.
So it seems like Sem is extracting the maximum that he can out of the hard tyres. Of course, Monster still 4/10 of a second faster as
Luke 5 place grid penalty for collision with Danny Headcounter.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what,
fastest.
Not sure what happened there for him, but not what he would have wanted, considering that he really needs to recover after his crash in Australia, Matthias, and as you will well know, Luke was very disappointed in that incident. The last thing he would have wanted was a setback of getting a 5-place grid penalty.
Yeah, might be a bit of a weird collision there with Headcamper, but I'm sure he can recover in the race. Who is on the timed lap?
Well, another driver who is looking to make an impact is Bendel. Didn't score last time out. Didn't score last time out in the Alfa Romeo. Has moved up temporarily now to Formula Euroleague. He's been promoted after his success in the 2nd division and put in some stellar performances, including winning the British Grand Prix. And so now, just follow him now as he's 7/10 up on his previous time, set a purple middle sector. So he's flying at the moment. It's going to be very close if he can get it on the front row of the grid. Right now, that's where he's looking. On the medium tyres, let's not forget, which is around 8/10 of a second faster, as Ardapple Gamer goes 2nd fastest in the Ferrari. You're seeing Bendo as he crosses the line, goes 3rd. So as you can see there, the top 4 Matthias separated by 0.04 of a second. How close is that?
Yeah, really close in the top 3. Some guy says watch Monster will too when he starts his lap. We'll go on board with Luke, who's on the lap. On those medium tires, he needs to have a good qualifying to compromise the 5-place grid penalty he has from the collision with Headcamper. He's short shifting quite well, entering. I don't know, did he cancel the lap? I think he has.
Well, he's still going strong, Luke, on this one, and as you can see, he's up on this lap, but it's not really looking like it's going to set the world alight. He's improving on his own lap, as you can see, he's given up.
He's given up.
Yeah, he's given up, so
yeah.
Luke really has it all to do now. Under the cost, he really needs to nail it. Opens up the DRS, and now he's going to start his next lap to see it's a 1:30.1, nowhere near competitive, nowhere near Luke's normal pace. And let's see how he goes now. Because I'm going to be keeping an eye on his
go on
lap
board
as we
with
go
Monster, as he has done an amazing job in the hard stint. What can he do on those medium tires?
Well, let's see, he's building up speed now, coming out of turn 3, putting on the throttle now, coming all the way up to 8th gear, doing speeds of almost 200 miles an hour. He brakes hard just before the 50-meter board, now turns in hard right, holds it into 4th gear, now 5th, now 6th, coming through the right left-hander. He wants to normally leave it into 5th, but he's going to shift it down to 4th. He's fastest of all in sector 1, as you mentioned there, hard shifting down into 2nd gear. Don't let the car rotate too much. You want to maximise speed on the exit. Now for dreaded turn 9, turn 10, almost a double apex. You've really got to pick your braking point. Maiko goes fastest of all with a 127.4 in a Mercedes, so he's responded as now Monster building up speed now, opens up the DRS now to climb all the way up to almost 200 miles an hour again. Now shifting just before the 50-meter board again, shifting down into 4th gear. Don't let the car run too far, you don't want to get onto the curves, and then keep the car off the curve on the inside. It will send the car into a spin if you touch it. He's faster in the middle sector as well. This is a good lap for Monster. He went a little bit wide on the exit of that corner there, but he's managed to hold on to it. Might have lost his self-attempt. Now comes down to the final corner. Don't get too greedy into the corner. You really need to open up the exit as he does there. Keeps it into 4th gear. Now climbing up the throttle. Opens up the DRS. It's a race to the line. What's it going to be? And he's fastest.
What a lap to watch.
1:27.3 from Monster. That did look quick, and he's absolutely nailed it as Tim Wenting goes 5th fastest, as Benjamin Ardapple Gamer on his 2nd lap on those medium tyres does a 1:27.4, 0.03 of a second off the front row. Bendel on his 2nd run on those medium tyres goes 4th fastest, so he splits the Ferraris on the 2nd row of the grid. Let's look further down the order. Luke has hit the wall on the exit of turn 2, although I believe that's after his lap. He's in the top 10. Let's follow Sem though, Matthias, who's currently 11th on the medium tyres. Let's see what he can do now to follow him around the circuit. As now Sem is coming up speed now. He's opening up the DRS. He's down into 12th as Matthias Gamer creeps into the top 10 with his final lap. Opens up the corner as wide as he dares. Brakes just before the 50-meter board. Shifts down into 4th, quickly up into 5th. Now climbing up speed again. As I mentioned, don't grip the, don't hit the curb on the right-hand side. You want to hug it tight though as he goes into the corner. He's much smoother and more methodical than Monster, but not really going in there with the speed. Hopefully that doesn't upset his time too much now as he approaches the final corner, opens it up, goes a very wide berth, a lot wider than what Monster does, clips the curb on the right hand side, doesn't let the car run too far wide, sticks it to the left hand side. It's the shortest route of the line. What's his time going to be? It's going to be tight, and he goes 2nd.
We'll go on board with Felix.
Just a bit behind Monster.
Yeah, what a lap from Sam here, as Felix is absolutely flying on those medium tyres. Don't forget guys, he won here last season after an amazing overtake after the safety car restart. 4 wide into turn 1. Let's see what he can do. He is now approaching the final corner. He's gone through it, gets a good exit, opens up DRS, and what is his time going to be? It's P5 for Felix so far, but look how close the top 5 is.
Yeah, it's very close, Matthias. As you can see, the top 9, or top 10 actually I should say, separated by less than 0.4 of a second. To put that into context, the Formula 1 car goes a long way in 0.4 of a second. But these guys, there's not much to call between them. It's shaping up to be an exciting race indeed. Just the final guys to qualify now. We're also with Thomas Dar FIFA as he comes through the final corner. What can our champion do? The reigning defending champion, what can he do? He's not the best qualifier, and we'll see where he can put his car on the grid. It's going to be tight. And there you go. Only P5. He improved by a couple of attempts, and he's alongside his teammate. It'll be leading on the 3rd row of the grid alongside Felix, his former teammate from last season. So that'll be interesting to see those two together on the grid once again. And it looks like we've just got a few more guys. We've got Magic Alonso in the pits. We've got MDJ, who's had a mixed day, I should say, from watching a couple of his races today. Yeah, Kai coming around the final corner. Hasn't set a lap time. No, he's Kai's out of the session. Oh, he's just coming in actually. Oh, well, there you go. What a lap. Well, I was just saying that it looked like he was out of the session earlier on, but he's come back with a bang What a time from Kai.
And what a
As,
disaster
MDJ
for
gets
McLaren.
a disaster indeed, but Kai, as he did in Australia, Matthias, nails it on pole position. So the second pole in a row for Kai already. So he's definitely proven to be the master of qualifying.
Yeah.
But can he convert it to a race win this time out? And that is qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think of that? Kai at the death. I said he was at
40
qualifying
viewers,
well.
Jesus.
There you go.
We'll run down the grid. Kai gets an absolutely amazing lap on his medium tire compound, 3.67 tenths ahead of Monster. Best qualifying from him so far this season. Sam in 3rd place, Michael in 4th, Benjamin in 5th place, Thomas in 6th, Felix in 7th place. Look how close it is in the top 12, all between 1 second. Bendel P8, Tim P9, Simon P10, Donkey P11, Uran P12, Ice P13, Yellow with a good qualifying in P14, Matthias P15, Luke P16, Karen P17, Headcamper P18, Steve and Mikey were P19 and 20. Yeah. So.
Well, practically everybody went onto the medium tyres in the end, so all the top 10 will be starting on the medium tyres. I'm surprised no one was bold to try and go softs, but clearly on this track everyone knows in the race softer tyres are just not going to be the way to go for them. However, having said that, there is a very close distinction between doing a 2-stopper with the mediums and the softs and a 1-stopper with soft to hard. So it's interesting to see that the guys decided not to go that way. They've all got mediums, sensible enough. But I've got to say, Matthias, I mean, almost a bit guilty of discounting Kai then, completely forget about him, but he pulled that one out of nowhere at the death. And great to see that Kai definitely showing us why he's the qualifying master, but the question remains, did a good job in Australia to get 2nd place, of course, with Thomas Darfifa winning that race, but do you think Kai can now convert this pole position into a win this time around? It was difficult for Charles Leclerc in last year's Bahrain Grand Prix, converting a pole position into a win, of course, with the retirement. But do you think Kai can go one better and do that?
I don't know, let's see what he can do. He's starting from pole with Monster behind him. Monster, who is a good racer, but gets a lot of penalties, which is not in his favor. So, yeah. We have some guys, Sam in his debut in P3, Michael in P4, and the 2 Ferraris on the 3rd row of the grid, Williams in 7th, and Bendel in 8th. Can Bendel get his first points of the season? Who knows? We'll have to see and wait.
Well, very uncharacteristically, looking down the order to see if there's anyone really out of place from what I can see. Of course, Ice-T down in 13th after finishing 3rd in Australia. We know Ice-T is not the greatest qualifier, so we expect him to come through the field as the race goes on. But looking at the back of the grid there, we've got Luke in dead last in the Williams. Quite a bit disappointing considering how strong he was in Australia. I'm not sure if it's a confidence thing or if he doesn't really fancy the circuit, but Luke is definitely a driver that's going to have to put that behind him now, get his head down,
the points,
and really put in a strong performance to try and get into the points today.
20.
So even you're surprised to see one of your drivers.
I thought he started
so
P16 because the grid thing showed.
But there was the grid penalty as well, so
big confusion.
Yeah, so we had the 5-place grid penalty, let's not forget as well, which put him at the back of the field. So, of course, we're about to get underway, guys. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We've got 45 views on the Twitch stream, which is brilliant to see. So thank you for following us live for this race. And, of course, don't forget to like, follow, and give us a sub as well. It really does help us out and continue to grow this channel. Of course, don't forget to support us on Twitter and Instagram as well. Instagram, Formula_Euro_League, where you'll see all of the live standings, all of the latest news and content from your favourite online racing league. As we're about to get underway for the Bahrain Grand Prix, Matthias, what are your thoughts? What are your predictions? Who do you think is going to get this right? Do we think Kai's going to convert pole to a win? Do we think Monster's going to get his first win? Or do we think our new debutant Sem is going to show everyone what he's made of?
We'll speak about it after lap 1. We'll speak about that because as we saw in the tier 2 race, Alex was starting from pole, but yeah. Not going to tell what happened there, as we are starting with now 0 red lights, but hopefully anytime soon 5 red lights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and away we go. It's a good start from Kai eventually. It's a really poor start from Felix in the Williams. You can see him already falling down the order. Michael had a good start from the second row. Ferrari's doing it quite easily, and Monster takes the lead of the Grand Prix. So he's in the lead from second place. Luke is still in last place. Kerem is in 19th place. Both McLaren's got a good start from the last round. Felix is falling down the order to P12 already. So something must have happened to him. It's a really close start. Everyone is almost still in his place, as Benjamin is really... Something happened to Benjamin. He's down in P18. Luke is still in last place, but Monster continues to lead of the Grand Prix after overtaking Kai. Kai falling back to P3 already. Sam in P5 and Tim in P6, and you have Simon in P7 getting a good start from P10. And that's almost your half first lap, as Bender is still in P8, so he's still into the points. Something must have happened to the guys at the back, as Luke is cutting through the field already up to P17. Needs to watch his front wing end plate. Monster cuts a gap of 1.2 seconds to Maiko. They're starting to form a train behind them, and Sam is leading the pack of the train. So yeah, that's your first lap.
Well, Matthias, I just got to say, obviously Sam and Benjamin were having a bit of contact earlier on in the first part of the first couple of corners, and as you can see, Sam pulling into the pits. He's got damage on his front left end plate, which caused him to lose a position to Darth Beef in the Ferrari, and let his teammate Tim through.
Made the overtake 6. Sorry for interrupting you.
Yeah, so already Stem and Benjamin, our double gamer, down the order after a first lap incident, so they're going to have a lot of work to do now if they're going to have to recover that. Of course, excellent start from Monster, got a brilliant getaway, got Kai at the first corner, and he's starting to pull away a little bit, Monster, so got his head down, not fazed by the fact that he's leading the Grand Prix so early on, just needs to do his job and get on with it. And of course Maiko, a good getaway from Maiko up into third position. And of course Thomas, Darth FIFA, biding his time as he did before, sitting in there in fourth place. He knows it's a long race better than anybody, and he'll be picking his moments. Don't expect him to charge through just yet. He'll pick the right time. And of course now Tim,
Bendel losing positions. Already down to 9th, 10th, 11th maybe.
Place.
Yeah, Bendel losing 3 positions on the exit of one corner. Not what you want, and Felix is already gaining some places from the bad start he had. Is he going to throw it around the outside of Uran? No, he doesn't. Almost makes contact with him. So he'll lose 1 or 2 places. No, he doesn't, as Felix gets a good exit. Here we see the guys, Bendel losing a lot of positions this lap in the second lap of the race. Lorenzo Bandini is through. Kai gets the fast lap, and he's trying to push through.
I'll tell you what, this is going to get really bad for Bendel. Sorry to interrupt Matthias,
oh, no.
But Bendel was on the outside of the final corner. He needed to pit because he had damage on his front wing, but he couldn't turn in because he had cars alongside him to the right hand side, so he had to get off the throttle almost after driving into one of the after Felix, and ended up having to wait for his teammate and head camper to pass before eventually diving into the pits to repair that front wing.
Kerem has won to the pit lane, and Benjamin needs to do all the work again. Good start from Steve though, liking that one, as he's been chased down by Luke, so he's probably been stuck behind him, and Steve just lets him pass. So Steve being very, very generous to the Williams driver.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strange one there. I mean, Steve is a very racy customer. He doesn't really let drivers through so easily without fighting. But I suppose, given Luke pace that Steve will be very familiar with, perhaps Steve doesn't feel that he's in the same race as Luke. So perhaps he thought it would be better to just let Luke go, get after the guys in front, and then perhaps Steve can just race his own race at the moment and see where that pays off for him later on.
Yeah.
Bit of a strange decision, but we'll wait and see. I mean, Steve's a veteran, he knows what he's doing, so I'm not going to doubt what discount is. Yeah. Of course, further ahead, we've got Benjamin, our double gamer, trying to recover after a dismal start for him. All over the back of Matty Skater in 13th. And Headcamper, yeah, you're right, he's gone very wide there. It's allowed Matty's game to go through. And of course, you've got now a Ferrari of Benjamin Ardapple Gamer all over the back of him as DRS has now been enabled, as we can see. 4 of them coming into turn 1. Headcamper trying to go up the inside of Matty's Gamer, and you've got Benjamin there alongside him into turn 2 and 3. He's going to get past the Alfa Romeo. He may also get Headcamper as well. He's all over the back of that Renault. A Ferrari versus Renault. Who's going to come out on top? And it's down the inside for Ardapple Gamer up into 12th position.
Also overtaking 2 cars.
Yeah, you can see Luke, very opportunistic move. Yeah. Brilliant stuff. So you can see 2 of our leading protagonists, as we expect in this championship, showing everyone how to overtake through traffic. Great stuff from Benjamin and Luke. Brilliant stuff.
Look how close Thomas is to his really old rival since the start of the league. It's good to see them battle again. Oh no, Karim has left the session. Thomas got his only not podium finish here last season. So hope he can do better this time. Tim is pushing to P5 as he is also in the DRS of Thomas. Let's see who can make an overtake. Duran is really close to the back of ISD, but oh, Felix makes contact with Duran, but no damage as it's a DRS train here. And ISD can't keep up with the guys in front. Duran is also really racy on those medium tires. Felix goes to the left, to the right. To see I'm there. Here's the place where he last year made a triple dive bomb as he overtook 3 cars down the inside. After the safety car restart, IST has been overtaken by Duran as he's on the harder compound, and Felix might be the next one to overtake him. Slingshotting it around the outside of turn 3. Can he hang on to it? Yes, he can. He has made the overtake stick for 9th place.
That was a good move from Felix there, and of course, Joran likewise. Ice-T starting the race on the harder tyres, electing to start the race on the hard tyres. Bit of a questionable call, considering what everyone else has done, and I think at the moment, he's having a hard time sticking with the guys in front, and he's falling down the order, although, let's not forget, that may pay him back later on, assuming we don't have a safety car. He will be much faster towards the end of this race, so we'll have to keep an eye on Ice-T, but right now, he's looking like he might be regretting that tyre choice at the moment. It seems questionable.
As Jelle is doing also really well in this race so far, close to the points.
Well, saying further up the front, going back to Monster, who's still maintaining that 1 second gap to Kai behind him. He's doing a great job, Monster, considering this is a track where DRS is very powerful and it makes it very difficult to keep guys behind you if they stay within that 1 second threshold. But right now, Monster's doing a good job at the moment, managing his tyres, managing his pace, and he looks fairly comfortable at the moment. As I say that, Felix has overtaken Joran for 8th place, and Benjamin, Ardapple Gamer, overtaken Lorenzo Bandini for 11th, and now he's got Ice-T in front of him. So Ferrari and Racing Point fighting in the Constructors' Championship already. Didn't imagine that 2 of their guys would be sitting in 10th and 11th place, but it's clear to see these 2 are not running in the same sort of race as their lead drivers in their respective teams at the moment, but it should be a good battle nonetheless.
Yeah, Monster still has no... Sorry, continue your story.
No, I was just going to say Ice-T locking his brakes there, so he's having a hard time under pressure, not really getting the most out of them hard tyres. And to be honest with tyres, it's one of those tyres that tends to favour you later on in the race when the track is rubbing in, or you can definitely get away with not having that initial grip. And right now, Ice-T's having a hard time keeping the guys behind him at the moment. He's falling down the order, but as you're saying, Monster doing a great job at the front, keeping Kai behind him, who in turn is keeping Maiko a second back, and he's got Darfifa and Tim Wenting close behind in the Ferrari and Red Bull respectively. Looks like they're all managing their tyres at the moment. Managing this stint gives them more options, and they've still got pace. Monster and Kai both setting fastest lap after fastest lap.
Oh, Thomas going to the right and almost hitting Tim. Thomas goes down the inside, but no contact made. Thomas loses out on Tim. Tim wins 1 position. Can he hang on to it and overtake Michael ASAP? Is he going for the dive bomb? No, I'm sure he isn't.
Well, it was interesting there, Matthias, because Tim went round the outside into turn 1, which not a bad way to go, but of course it looked like Thomas Darfiva had him covered. The unfortunate thing was, because he was so close to Maiko, he couldn't turn that Ferrari where he wanted to, otherwise it would have hit the Mercedes. So it compromised his exit, which allowed Tim to go around the outside, which of course gives him the better line into turns 2 and 3. And there was nothing that Darfiva could do, so great move from Tim, very clever, using the opportunity of Maiko as a buffer for him, and that allowed him to overtake the champion, so good stuff.
Yeah, Benjamin is really close to getting once again into the points.
And of course, let's not forget, Tim's teammate Sem, our illustrious teammate, not having a good race so far, trying to recover very fast in his medium tyres at the moment, having to manage his pace, but he's just set a fastest lap of the race, so perhaps he might be considering going to a 2-stopper, or he might try to hold on. We'll have to wait and see, but right now, this Red Bull is literally relying single-handedly on Tim Wensink at the moment.
Kai just entering the DRS of Monster.
Yeah, so he's finally gotten into, although interestingly, Monster had DRS as well, so was he lapping someone there? That was a bit strange. Yeah, I definitely could see on that on the Huss he had that rear wing flap had opened up, and you can see it's open again.
Oh, it's probably from Karen. Yeah,
it must be from Karen.
Haas tactics.
So very strange. Seeing where Karen is on the circuit, yeah, he's falling down the air. So it must be what Monster got DRS for. So as you were saying, Matthias, Kai has now broken the DRS of Monster. So now he should be looking to creep further and further up to him, and you can see that's definitely the case. Kai's picked up his pace now as Maiko in the Mercedes falling a bit away from the front two now. So let's see how Monster deals with this. He's been good so far. The opening 8 laps has been very, very good. But now Kai's starting to up the pressure now, upping his pace, found his rhythm, found his groove. We're going to see what Monster can do now under immense pressure from Kai for the race lead, of course, 8 laps into the Bahrain Grand Prix for Formula EuroLeague.
Yeah, Luke is a bit struggling to get past Danny as he lost a position to him. Yeah, so Luke is trying to overtake Dani, who's in P13. He's still not into the points. Felix is... Where's Felix? He's in P8, not really closing up to Donkey. Someone got the fast lap, didn't really got to see it. Thomas is into the pit, so he's the first one of the leading pack to pit in this race. Under normal circumstances, not like Sam did. Oh, Tim overtook Maiko, so completely forgot that one.
Yeah, sorry, I was watching that, Matthias. Didn't want to disturb you there, but yeah, he went around the outside of Maiko into turn 1. Really got the move done very, very nicely. Maiko trying to fight it back. It looks like he's going to have to give this one up. Kai, of course, setting a fast lap early before Benjamin did. He's catching Monster very quick now. He's only 4 tenths behind Monster, so they're going to be battling for the lead very soon as Tim and Maiko battling it out for 3rd and 4th. Is Maiko going to go for a dive here through the double apex? I'm not sure. Not exactly the best place to go, and he doesn't. Also worth noting that Darfifa has pitted onto the harder tyres, so he's the first of the front runners to make the stop, trying to go for a massive undercut. Wonder if that's too early or not, but we'll have to wait and see if that pans out for our champion, for our defending champion and championship leader. But right now, it's these two at the front, Kai and Monster. Now less than half a second between them. Kai is sniffing blood in the water. He can see first place is right there for the taking, but Monster so far not being phased, managing this pressure very, very nicely in the Huss. So he's doing a good job so far. Definitely cannot be understated. This is by far one of his best performances he's put in Formula EuroLeague, but now he's going to come under massive pressure from Kai, who's got the DRS, is just going on board with the Racing Point driver now as he moves to the left-hand side, laying on the brakes late as you dare, but Monster brakes just as late as he does to hold it around the outside. He's going to squeeze him as far. Oh, it's contact! Contact between them. And well, that is such a shame for Monster, but Kai has taken the lead. Very controversial move there, to be honest. Monster had kind of squeezed Kai out there, and perhaps Kai, I mean, it's a bit of both really. I mean, Kai probably should have yielded and allowed Monster to stay ahead. He was more than enough ahead to really demand that corner, and but then Monster perhaps could have given Kai a little bit more room.
Yeah.
Wonder how the stewards will deal with that one, but it was an incident really that could have easily been avoided, and unfortunately for Monster, Really, it's hard to say. I mean, Kai was definitely within a car's width. He was definitely within a car's width of Monster, but I felt personally that Monster had enough of the car ahead of Kai to warrant having the corner because he squeezed him out. So yeah, it's one of those incidents that can happen, but it'll be interesting what the stewards say. But as we say, the race goes on. Kai leads the race now with Tim in second place, Maiko in third, and Monster is still there. He's in fourth place, so he didn't lose that much, but his tyres will definitely be feeling pretty hot and worn after that incident now, so we'll have to wait and see what he does. Is he going to react and go into the pits and put on a set of hard tyres? As we've got Simon behind him in the Mercedes, who's gone about his business as predicted. Monster goes into the pits from fourth position, and so does Tim.
Oh, so the top. Benjamin as well.
Interestingly, both Mercedes stay out, so they're not trying to go to a strategy to put one in, one the other.
Luke overtaking Yellow. Sorry for interrupting you, Adam.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, good move from Luke there. He's overtaken Lorenzo Bandini up into 7th position. So, yeah, interesting in Mercedes there. They decided to go a bit longer. That might hurt Simon Bottormins later on. He's only a few seconds behind his teammates, so not enough for Mercedes team to service both cars without delaying their second car at the moment.
Yeah. Let's watch the battle between Steve and Matthias. Probably Steve loving this, squeezing Matthias left and to the right, and Matthias squeezing.
Oh, he couldn't get it slowed down though. He locked his brakes terribly, Steve, and that's costing him the place now. He's going to come under pressure from Thomas Darfifa and Tim. But interestingly enough, Matthias, I should point out, that undercut for Darfifa very powerful because it's got him back ahead of Tim.
Yeah, let's see if he comes out of ahead of Michael.
Which could promote Thomas up into second place. However, he has traffic. He's got Steve. He's got Matthias Gamer ahead of them. Both of them fighting for 10th place. They're not going to get out of the way, nor should they. So this could play into Maiko's hands and allow him to get back into second place as Steve locks his brakes again.
Into the lead. Into the pit, sorry. The leader's into the pit, so where is he going to rejoin? The Felix, Donkey, Simon as well. Let's see, where is Thomas going to rejoin? He has slipstream, Deer has everything you want. What can he do? He overtakes.
Well, this is going to get messy into turn one. It's literally 4 of them coming into turn one. And Steve had Magic Alonso had passed Matthew's Gamer, and he's got well wide out of turn 2.
Board with him.
Oh, well, I'll tell you, thankfully he didn't pick up any other cars, but what happened to Steve there? Completely lost it. And Tim will overtake Matthew's Gamer as well. So Darfifa and Tim are now free of that battle. And at the moment, Darfifa finds himself a few seconds behind Kai. So that's not worked out too badly for him.
Oh.
It'd be interesting to see what happens with Maiko, who's currently in the lead at the moment. But interesting to point out, though, he may find himself coming out behind Darfifa and Tim, but he will be on much fresher tyres towards the end of this race. Darfifa done 3 laps now on those harder tyres, whereas Tim has done 1. That could be very, very important to him later on, but of course it depends on what his strategy. Will he pit this time round? Surely now is the time, and he does. He pulls into the pits from the lead now, so let's see what can happen. The Mercedes team are going to have to put a quick stop, get this slowed down. He hasn't broke the speed limit, thankfully.
No, thank you.
So we'll see where this will put him out. Of course, the worst case scenario for Maiko is if he ends up in the middle of the battle between Matthias Gamer and Steve Magic Alonso. Of course, Monster in there as well in 10th place. He's stuck behind them. So let's see, where is he going to end up?
He is ending behind Thomas and Tim.
Yeah, and Tim has made the move on Darfifa around the inside into turn 1. So Tim has effectively got himself back up into net second place, whereas Maiko, owing to that undercut for the guys ahead of him, has now found himself behind both of them. Monster is just behind Maiko as well, with Simon has done a good job there. He's very quiet about his race, but he's found himself up amongst the leaders after a very quiet first stint, with Sem recovered his race so far up into 8th place, but he will no doubt.
Benjamin makes contact with Donkey.
And he went across the track to kind of keep the position, and he slows down to allow Donkey to retake the place. eventually slows down to allow him to retake the place. I was wondering if he was actually going to give him it there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, again, he's recovering his race. He needs to get a move on. And of course, Donkey cannot afford to be stuck behind Donkey too long because the leaders are right there. He's definitely back in this race, Benjamin. He's done a good job to get back in there as he pulls to the inside now and he overtakes Donkey into 9th position, which is
Luke
effectively...
fired 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. I thought there was a 5-second time penalty.
This race is getting bad for worse for him.
Yeah. Well, not really. He only got a 3-second time penalty and he is in 13th place, so he has a good first stint done. Now needs to push to his teammate and Uran. His teammate is pushing to Donkey. What can Felix do? Can he overtake? Yeah, yes, yes he does. Sam goes for the 2nd time into the pit lane. Is Felix going for the big balls? He dive on? No, he tucks in behind. Tim overtook Thomas out of our notices. Sam rejoins in P18, so he has to make all the places up once again.
Yeah, to make things worse, I'm sure Sam would have wanted to put the medium tyres on, but he couldn't. Had to put on a set of hard tyres on because, of course, he started the race on medium tyres. So he has to use 2 sets of compounds at the moment. But moving back up the front, as we've got the battle for 3rd and 4th behind. But the 2 racing points leading 1st and 2nd, of course, it's worth noting. Ice-T started the race on the hard tyres, so he will be going a bit longer into this race, hoping to put either the medium tyres or maybe the soft tyres on. It'll be interesting to see what tyre choice he goes to. Can he make those hard tyres last long enough to put on a set of softs to go to the end of the race, Matthias? What do you think?
I didn't really follow you. I was a bit busy watching the chat, to be honest.
Sorry, I was just saying with Ice-T, started the race on the harder tyres. And of course, the harder tyres go to the end of the race normally, but he's got to stop. Will he stay out long enough and put on a set of softer compound tyres rather than mediums?
I don't think he could make it. He should, if he wants to, he should do another 10 laps on those hard tyres. And I don't think it is possible, but you need to have good tyre wear. I think he's just going to hard medium, so no big deal for him.
Well, Monster's just picked up his pace again. He's at the fastest lap of the race, so fast because he's just got a 3-second time penalty, which is definitely not going to help considering that his immediate rivals are very close to him on the circuit. So he's pushing Monster, but perhaps a bit too hard at the moment. He's got to rein it in because he's not too far away from 2nd place at the moment. Of course, that earlier incident with Kai, which I'm sure will be looked at by the stewards, but he's got the 3 next best in front of him, and definitely showing a good enough pace to get them before the end of this race. We're only a half distance. This is going to be a very long, hard stint for these guys, so they're going to have to manage their pace well.
Yeah, Felix is still just about into the points, and his teammate is 2 places behind him, so not a good result so far for Williams. Yeah, as you said, Monster looking quite good again. Maybe he can get up as the pace and overtake the cars ahead of him. And when Ice-T pits, he will be promoted to P5. As Simon now gets the fastest lap in P7, as Tim is going for it down the inside. Can he hang on to it? Thomas has it. Ooh, he squeezes out Tim, but Tim still has a 3rd place finish. What can he do? He needs to watch his mirrors. Maiko going for the big ballsy dive bomb. Down the inside of Thomas, making a little bit of contact, drifting there, not getting the favor of the traction. So, not good enough for Maiko. Sam gets the fastest lap of the race. You can see there's a lot of train driving on this track.
Well, we were just saying before, we were looking at an incident between Kai and Monster, and we almost saw a carbon copy of that between Darth FIFA and Tim, but only this time Darth FIFA using the common sense to a racing driver there to back out when he knew it wasn't going to work out for him to protect the front end of his car so he can live to fight another day. But in doing so has allowed Maiko to get right up to his gearbox and really put pressure on him. Of course, right now you've effectively got 5 guys there all together. You've got Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, Haas, Mercedes, potentially the battle for second place between these five at the moment, because Kai, 4 seconds down the road in the Racing Point, looking very handy at the moment as his teammate finally dives into the pits. Icy gets it slowed down. Has done 16 laps on those harder tyres, so I'm expecting to see yellow striped mediums, but let's see if he's going to be bold. What tyre is he going to put on? And it is the medium compound tyres, as expected. Nonetheless, Ice-T is going to be very fast towards the end of this race, but of course we'll have to wait and see where he comes out. But I'm fear he may find himself a lot of traffic ahead of him. As you can see ahead of him, Luke and Yoran, the battle for 10th place, as Luke goes around the inside of Yoran, but he can't quite make that move stick. And now Ice-T has got work to do, but he's come out right behind Head Camper Lorenzo Bandini. He just avoids it as Bandini's sent almost into a spin. Manages to avoid that. Very similar to Gutierrez and Maldonado several years ago, except this time Bandini did end up on upside down.
Adam, is there a question of the week, just reminding you?
That's a good point, actually. I'm going to have to think of one off the fly here, because I didn't have one prepared for this one, so I do apologise. But let's see if I can come up one off the fly for the minute as we carry on with this race. Of course, Kai leading the way now. The gap is 5 seconds to Tim, who has got Darfifa right behind him in third position, with Maiko in fourth, Monster in fifth, Simon in bottom in sixth, and Benjamin Ardapple Gamer in 7th place at the moment, as Ice-T has moved ahead of Hetkamper up into 12th position. So actually, it's a good question actually, guys. In the Twitch chat, this one's for you. Reveal the answer at the end of the race as Kai sets a new fastest lap of the lap. 1 minute 30.0 is blistering pace at the moment. And we've got Tim and Darfifa. Once again, the battle resumed. Last time out, Tim and Darfifa almost come to blows there. What's it going to be this time? Tim defends well, pulls to the left-hand side to block any path Thomas has to try and make that move. And let's see. There's one on board with a Ferrari driver again, who's got the double DRS here. Can he make the move? Going up into turn 4, checks to the right hand side, but just isn't fast enough to pull alongside Tim there. So he's going to have to tuck in once again. Monster right behind Maiko. Is he going to be bold to try and go for a move here? This is the battle for 4th place. Not able to get it right this time. Really so the question is, guys, listen and pay attention, guys. Here is the question, a reveal answer at the end of the race. So Bahrain is one of the only 4 current F1 circuits where McLaren have not recorded a victory. Can you name the other 3? And I'll give you a hint. One of those has not been raced on the F1 calendar yet. So, McLaren, including Bahrain, one of the 4 races they've not won. Can you name the other 3? And one of those has not yet been raced on the F1 calendar. It's on the 2020 calendar. But as having said that, Darfifa has just overtaken Tim for 2nd place. I just saw that at the corner of my eye brilliantly when I was watching it. Of course, it's a different camera to what you've got. But he put a brilliant move there. This DRS section coming into turn 11. Went up the inside of Tim, completely caught him by surprise. Great move, but now he's going to have to defend from Tim, who's just behind him at the moment. Let's see what he can do here. As Tim's got DRS, he's going to pull alongside the Ferrari so much faster. He's obviously running less downforce than Darfifa is as well. And he makes a move up the inside, easy as you like, and retakes 2nd position. As you've got Darfifa now. What is he going to do? Is he going to be able to get back at Tim in the Ferrari? Tim, well, galloping away at the moment. It doesn't look like Darfifa's going to be able to get back past him. As you've got Maiko, you've got Monster as well, Simon. 5 of them all battling for 2nd place. It's getting really interesting now, Matthias. Who do you think is going to get 2nd place?
I don't know, I can't really say it till we cross the line. 10 laps to go. We might even see Monster getting on the podium. I really hope it for him, as he deserves it really, really hard. Yeah, he is in P5 so far. Luke really recovering quite well from P20 to P10 and closing up to his teammate Tim. Or sorry, Felix for 9th place, as Felix is 4/10 of Donkey, and Donkey can't find the rhythm of Benjamin. As they're in the back, Yellow is close to Headcamper. Sam is in 16th place. Yeah, maybe we see Thomas overtaking Tim once again. Is he going to be brave enough into turn 1? He gets a good exit out of turn, I don't know what it's called, last corner. I think he's close enough to already do it on the main straight, or under braking. He's going to do it around the outside of turn 1. And he stuck him behind Monster with a big dive bomb on Michael. What an absolutely move. Can he make it stick? This time no collision. Little bit of a touch.
That sent Maiko into a bit of a slide there, and it's allowed his teammate Simon to get up the inside of him and overtake for 5th place. So the Mercedes swapping places there. Maiko trying to defend from Monster, but Monster very aggressive, getting the shoulders out this time, not messing about, up into 4th place. But of course, let's not forget, he has a time penalty as well. And of course, we'll have to check and see what the others have got as well. So that may compromise him, but if I'm right with penalties, I don't believe the others around him do have a penalty. So right now, Monster, even though he's battling hard, he will find that he's the only one with a penalty out of these 5. So he will find himself down in 6th place at the end of the race as Thomas tries to go for a move up the inside of Tim, just like he did 2 laps ago.
Donkey, sorry, had to say it.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Of course, we've got to follow the progress further down the order as well as at the front. But Thomas, once again, trying to size up the move. It's interesting to see, Matthias. I'm just watching the onboard of Tim. Throughout the lap, he is saving a lot of his battery of the lap for that run into turn 1. Unfortunately, though, it seems that, I was to say that he's got a great run out of the final corner, Darth FIFA, so this is a great opportunity, as close as he's been to Tim, all the way through to turn 1. Surely now with DRS open, he's going to be able to make that move stick. Going into turn 1, of course, let's not worry about Kerem. He's ghosting his AI at the moment, so he's not going to play back. But he's gone very deep into turn 1. So has Tim. They go very close to touching. Monster is there as well for company. So Monster's going to get in the battle as well. This is going to get very close. 3 of them into turn. Oh, wow. Very, very close. Somehow the 3 of them did not collide.
Still
Tim and Darth almost colliding.
Thomas lets out on Tim. Really opportunistic for Monster there to try and do it. He has been really, really brave. Trying to make the best out of it.
It's good to see. I mean,
yeah,
he stuck his nose in there. He's certainly not deterred by what happened with Kai earlier on. Left his nose in there, but managed to yield at the right time to back out of it. And of course, Darth FIFA did the same thing to Tim. Although, to be fair, Darth FIFA probably could have left it in there. Surprised that he backed out, but Tim, more aggressive there, wanted it a bit more, and is back up in the 2nd place. But Tim definitely running less downforce. It's faster on the straights, which is playing a massive advantage to him in the battle against Darth FIFA, who's clearly running more downforce and favouring cornering speeds over the straights. But it's not helping him at the moment because Monster's right at the back of him.
Really close to Thomas,
He is on board with the Hush drive at the moment, putting alongside to the left. He's going to have to try and get that exit right as Darth FIFA really feeling the pressure both ways in front of him in Tim and behind him in Monster. And Monster's not messing around. If he sees an opportunity, he's going to make the dive bomb. He has to. He has to right now.
Oh, I saw him looking. Oh, Simon getting really close to the gearbox of Monster. But the top 6 is still the same.
Well, these 5 at the moment, it's like putting all your cars on the same piece of scale electric track at the same time and just watching them go line astern. These guys following each other, brilliantly done. It's what we want to see, and it's this anticipation of a battle that's going to explode in the climax of this race. I definitely kid you not, this will get very tasty. And of course, let us know, guys, who you think is going to come out on top on this titanic battle. Of course, let's not forget Monster has a time penalty. So who do you think is going to come out on top of these 5? Who's going to come 2nd? Who's going to come 3rd? Of course, because Kai at the moment is running his own race very nicely, and I'm sure he'll be very much enjoying those 5 battling it out behind him, because at the moment, it's his race to lose.
Away.
And importantly, that will give him the championship lead. Of course, Darth FIFA, winner in Australia, 3rd place finish today, will put him 3 points behind Kai after 2 races in the championship. But it's good to see those 2 seem to be showing that they are the bar in terms of standard this season. Right now, Darth FIFA putting a lot of pressure on Tim at the moment, very close behind him, and of course, Tim locking his brakes ever so slightly. Let's come back as he's right behind him now. DRS is open in the situation. He chinks to the left, chinks to the right. Sold him a dummy there, and now Tim finds himself on the outside and defensive. Can Darth FIFA get slowed down? Tim leaves it round the outside. This is going to get very close coming into turn 2.
Oh, Thomas, that's the same. No! Tim! Collect the Mercedes!
What a nightmare for Tim. He left it round the outside, and that's allowed Monster to overtake the pair of them. And Maiko now is looking like he might get past Tim. Past Darth FIFA, I should say. Oh, it was So unfortunate for Tim, he left it there, but they had contacted, as they did before. Tim left it in there and it caused them to send him wide, as we've seen a few guys have that problem, trying to hold on to it. Tim not able to do that, and that's now sent him all the way down into 6th place. A monster, most opportunistic of all, held it in there, and he's up into 2nd place. Tim has damage. Yeah.
Oh no.
You're right there. You're right, Tim has. You're right, Tim does have damage, and it's causing him to fall back now. Benjamin, R-double gamer, another Ferrari. The last thing Tim wanted to see was a Ferrari overtaking him, and it's happened again. The other Ferrari and Benjamin has overtaken him, moving up into 6th place. It's going from bad to worse. We were talking about it being a potential dream team for Red Bull to challenge Ferrari, and the dream is starting to very quickly turn into a nightmare right now, as quite convincingly, Matthias, the 2 Mercedes in Maiko and Simon going about their business and climbing up the order through everyone else's mistakes at the moment.
Yeah, Monster is now in P2, has Thomas behind him. Oh, the Red Bull team was just, Tim retired from the session. The Mercedes team was said in the chat, I could proudly announce I'm leaving Red Bull. I actually give up. So, nah.
Well, that's a shame. Of course, it's a shame what happened to Tim.
After one bad result, why would you give up?
I'm not sure. It's a shame, and of course we don't want them to throw in the towel. I mean, this sort of thing happens. It is a shame for Tim, but nonetheless, he's out of the race, and of course we'll have to. I'm sure him and the Red Bull team will have a look at what happened later on, and try and come up with an explanation in the debrief. But as it stands right now, Monster up into 2nd place, 6.5 seconds off the lead, half a second ahead of Thomas Darfifa. Behind him, the championship leader at the moment, although as it stands, that will not be the case after this race. But with a 3-second time penalty for Monster, Darfifa will move ahead of him. Speaking of penalties, another one for Luke, so his day, even though he's back into the points, not helped by that time penalty, which could relegate him out of the points if he's not careful. And now Darfifa looking to shape up a move on Monster. Of course, he will finish ahead of him as it stands, but he wants to get it done on the track. Maybe try and go after Kai towards the end of this race. As Monster's safety car's come out.
Safety car for who?
So, I believe that is for Tim. A very late reaction from the safety car.
He left in the pits.
He did, yes. But
what
out
is
of
this
nowhere,
game?
I don't understand. Yeah, the game has caused that. But I'll tell you what, that seemed very strange, because, and this is really, really interesting now, because Monster had slowed down when I was watching him. I thought something was a bit strange, but they slowed down. Him and Thomas dived into the pits to put on new tyres. Monster's gone for the mediums, interestingly, rather than the softs. I find that very odd. I don't know if he's definitely got soft tyres available, because he hasn't used softs all weekend long, but he's put the mediums on. Darfifa has put on the soft tyres. Maiko's put on mediums. Benjamin has put on the softs. Of course, he had to wait because the Ferraris were double stacking. Felix has put the soft tyres on. And as you can see, everybody now coming into the pits putting on the soft tyres. So all of a sudden...
This is not in the favour of Kai. He had a good lead, but his lead is gone.
Well, this is it. I feel for Kai. He's really going to suffer now. And also, strangely, Simon stayed out, Matthias. So Simon missed the opportunity to pit. I don't know if you're worried about the double stacking, but he stayed out. And I feel that the Mercedes of Simon, Bob Tormens and Kai in the Racing Point are going to be in trouble. But Kai is far enough ahead now, as you can see by the telemetry. He's got a gap, so he's going to literally throw that Racing Point in. He might be okay, Matthias.
Yeah.
Of course, when the safety car is waiting to pick up the leader, which it's still doing, which is currently Kai, everyone is subject to a delta time, so they have to go slowly. Yeah, can't fly around the circuit. So Kai, now coming into the pits, will put on the soft tyres. He might be okay. Simon goes through to take the lead, but I believe Kai is going to be okay now. You've got, as you can see, you've got Yoran, you've got Monster, you've got Darfifa all coming down the back straight now. I think Kai's going to be okay.
Yeah, Kai could be okay.
Yeah, he's fine. He comes out of the pits now. He's crucially ahead of his rivals. Only Simon is ahead of him, but Simon hasn't pitted on 14-lap old hard tyres, which of course won't be difficult to drive on. but compared to the guys behind him who's going to be on fresh, softer rubber, you'd feel that it's going to be a sitting duck, not going to have much long to defend, but it's going to be a tall order for Simon Bok Torments to hold on to that lead at the end of the race.
Yeah, this actually might be in the favor of Sam, maybe gaining his time, but it's going to be a 2 or 3 lap sprint race.
Yeah, I mean, Sam's down in 15th place at the moment, so the safety car hasn't really helped him as much as he would have liked. That's his 3rd stop of the race, and I'm sure Sam would have hoped that the safety car would have come out a lot earlier in the race for him, but it's out nonetheless. So he's going to have a lot of work to do if he's going to get into the points. Crucially, though, Felix back into the points. Luke also in the points. So Williams has managed to sell some points. Ice-T, his strategy didn't really pay off for him, as he's down in 11th. So this is going to get very interesting. Of course, we've got a McLaren at the back. We've got MDJ, the AI ghosting at the moment. Can't really allow people to overtake him, but it shouldn't be a factor that he's ghosting in this race, so probably will just get out of the way anyway. As we're coming up to the closing stages of the race, so guys, let us know in the chat. I'm seeing a lot of avatar faces being spammed in, and most notably by you, Matthias. But nonetheless, guys, let me know who you think is going to win the Bahrain Grand Prix. Is it going to be Simon? Is it going to be Bok Torments? Is it going to be Kai really taking the lead at the end? Is Joran going to throw his hand into the mix?
I don't know, could be the first podium of him in a long time.
Maybe. He's currently in the position at the moment. Monster, of course, has that time penalty, and let's not forget, Matthias, Monster, despite safety car might favour him, it's actually the opposite. He's got a 3-second time penalty, and you can see everyone's bunched up. I'm not quite sure. As I said, he could have put the softs on, but with that 3-second time penalty, that's going to send him a bit further down the order than he would have liked. I think the worst he would have thought he might get was 4th or 5th. Now, unless he gets a move on, or he runs out of time, he may find himself further down the order.
Come on, please give us a 2-lap sprint race. 3,
well, we know the race won't finish behind the safety car. We know the game is programmed so that if the safety car, for the safety car to not come out when a race result is almost about to be completed. So we will get some racing left, even if it's 1 or 2 laps. The safety car's still got its lights on. So at the very least, we will have 2 laps of green flag racing before the end of this race. It's been a crazy race so far. And of course, I'm looking through the chat in regards to my question, as late as it was. I can't see a right answer, so I'm going to give it to you now, guys. Matthias, unless you think you know what the answer is.
I think Hanoi. No, I wouldn't know it.
So you're right with one of them, Hanoi, the Vietnamese Grand Prix, which we haven't had yet, as it was postponed on the 2020 calendar, so McLaren obviously haven't won there. Also, Baku, McLaren have obviously not won there,
and in this lap.
And the Russian Grand Prix as well. So Hanoi, Baku and Sochi, so I didn't see anyone get that right, but nonetheless...
You said there were 4. Oh no, yeah, there are 4
but
with
including
Bahrain.
This one.
Sorry.
But as you said, the safety car coming in at the end of the race. Now, as we know, as Magic Alonso gets a penalty for collision Matis Gamer, but we know that Monster has a penalty, and we'll start to see now. Felix has got a Felix has got a it said Felix had a penalty.
Probably I'll get removed on because
possibly
by the slightest touch you get a penalty.
But this is what happens, the Constantina effect that Simon is causing ahead, and now he's going to try and get away. He hasn't got on the throttle yet. He's leaving it as late as possible. This is quite dangerous from Simon now. This is way too late.
Oh, everyone getting damaged. There's a McLaren into the wall. Dashboard's flying. Not the smartest thing you could do.
That's really dangerous driving from Simon now. Would be surprised doesn't get a penalty. As now Kai goes up the inside into turn 1 straight away, takes the lead back as Joran defending from Darth FIFA, from Maiko as well there. Magic Alonso out of the race. Monster as well, they're all battling, and this is all being caused by the traffic that Simon has caused ahead of them, and it's all like mad. Everybody throwing their cars in, hoping it will stick, hoping not to get tagged at the end of the race. I saw Renault go very wide there, and now Benjamin, he got clipped by Felix.
Chaos caused by Simon.
Oh, it's crazy stuff. Well, this is it. This is why you shouldn't really do that when you're leading the field. And very dangerous driving from Simon. I'm sure the stewards will look at that at the end of the race. Nonetheless, though, guys, we've got 2 laps to go. Kai has broken away at the front as we expected. We've got Darth FIFA all over the back of Simon, but he's got to fend off Joran. He's got to fend off Maiko. He's got to fend off Monster, who has a penalty. Let's not forget. We're looking through now. This is crazy stuff now. Who's going to finish on the podium?
Oh, Benjamin goes really deep. Ooh. It's really Monster, come on, get your P6. But a lot of guys got penalties here last lap because Simon was holding up them so much. Steve got in the DNF because of it, so I think he can actually get a penalty for it for dangerous driving, as Benjamin is trying to overtake Monster for the P6. Is he going for it?
Well, it's going to be critical here.
Ooh, Michael blocking
goes
him
very late. He's got a hold around the outside. Felix is also looking for a move there. Takes advantage of Monster being compromised, and Felix moves ahead of Monster now. Great stuff from Felix. Of course, no DRS for the rest of this race.
For it, Benjamin.
Felix got for a move up the inside on Benjamin. So this is incredible stuff from Felix. And he goes, oh, he's almost forced there very wide. Manages to hold on to it, but Benjamin holds on to that position. Of course, Darth FIFA all over the back of Simon, who's holding on to second place for dear life.
Oh, Benjamin! This has been spun around. Mike has been pushed by Felix's exit, has been compromised by that. And
he's got to be careful how he rejoins the circuit.
He's got damage. Michael braking quite early, or Felix braking late. I don't know, it's all been chaotic.
Well, it's going to be chaos towards the end of this race now. Everyone literally throwing it in as late as they dare to go on, and Felix seems to have won the battle. Joran in 4th position. Didn't think to see him in 4th position, but taken advantage of the safety car and the battle and chaos behind him. He's going to be able to finish in the top 4. As of course, now Kai about to come through the final corner for one last time. Is Thomas Darth FIFA going to leave it up the inside of Simon in the last corner? He doesn't.
The last lap. Oh,
but Kai comes through the final corner. Second place in Australia, gets the win and the fastest lap across the line. Simon Boxhorman second in Mercedes. The gamble paid off, but of course the stewards will be looking at that
restart. Out of the points.
Yeah, Monster had a penalties, and that has sent him all the way down. Our double gamer down, but it's race over. What a crazy finish to that race. And it is...
Wow.
Wasn't able to convert pole to the win last time out, but this time he's able to do that, and with that will take the lead in the Drivers' Championship. It's a winner. First time winner for him in this season's FEL competition. It is Kai. Pole to the win and fastest lap, the Grand Slam for him. Great job in the racing point, and that will certainly send shockwaves. Kai this season means business in the FEL Championship. Matthias, what are your final thoughts on that chaotic finish?
What a race. What a race. We'll just have to wait till the official results come out, because I think a lot of penalties will be moved and a couple will be awarded. But the unofficial standings: Kai wins his first Grand Prix in Euro League. Simon in P2, Thomas in P3, Joran in P4, Michael in a P5, so good day for Mercedes. Bendel miraculously in P6, Matthias in P7, Felix in P8, Sam once for all into the points, Jelle into the points, Danny in P11, Ice-T in P12, Lucas penalties will be removed, so he will move up the grid. P13, Monster P14, Benjamin in P15 after a lot of penalties, Donkey in P16, and Karen in his Ghost Card Karen bot, and the DNFs are Steve and Mikey and Tim Wending. So what a race. Can you invite the podium, guys?
Yeah, absolutely. I think no doubt in my mind, driver of the day has to be Kai after a stellar performance, and of course it seemed in jeopardy once the safety car had shook up the pack, but he held his nerve, pitted at the right time, managed to come out, overtake Boxor Men's and get the race win. Now just about to invite the winners to the podium ceremony. So Matthias, give us your thoughts on that race as I invite our podium finishers to the chat.
Yeah, it's been a really good race. I think one of the best I've seen in a while after the Tier 2 race in Britain, but What a race, and we have a lot of viewers already, 33, and our milestone 40 viewers at a time, but what a race. Yeah, the interviews will be done. Adam is inviting the top 3. That is Kai winning, Simon in P2, and Thomas in P3. Kai taking the championship lead with a win and a second place. Thomas in P2 in the championship, as ICE loses a couple of positions in the championship. And yeah, we'll just have to wait and see till they join, and we'll ask them questions about their race and what they thought about the race, and if they're happy or not with their results. And I think Kai could be really happy winning his first ever race in the EuroLeague after finishing a couple of times in P1, but not winning because of penalties.
Yeah, you know, you're absolutely right. It was a great performance from Kai at the front. So we'll just have to wait and see now, get his thoughts after that brilliant performance. Of course, I've invited them now.
Yeah.
It was KJ. Was it M&T Elting or KJ Elting? I forget.
KJ.
KJ. All right. But we have our.
So we have. Hello. I just want to make a statement. The team has to shut up his fucking mouth.
Right, not swear. Don't swear.
Thomas, we're live.
Shut up. I don't care. Everyone can know.
Thomas, please, for starters, please do not swear live on the broadcast. And obviously, we'll talk to you in a minute, get your thoughts after this race. I know you're frustrated, but
this guy has to shut up.
Just need to relax a bit, and then we'll talk to you in just a moment. We also have Bottor Men's with us as well, just trying to invite our race winners. So do bear with me one second, Matthias.
Hello.
So Simon, good job in the end. Obviously, getting second place. I've got to ask. When I get your thoughts on this race, but that was a very interesting tactic under the safety car. They're really bunching up the pack, almost a little dangerous. What were your thoughts on that? Did you think that was okay, or was that all part of the plan?
I wanted to go at the last corner. I wanted to get a good exit on the straight, but I wasn't allowed. The safety car wasn't in the pits, so I had to wait on the right moment, and that was after the corner. So yeah, I'm sorry for bunching up the pack. That was not my intention.
But nonetheless, obviously you did a great job to get into second place, of course, battling very hard. I mean, what was your thoughts on the race as a whole? Because of course you were sitting behind some of the leaders in front, biding your time, and of course the safety car came out. You really took advantage of that. Was that your choice to stay out, or did you feel that you wanted to see what your teammate would do?
Yeah, my teammate went into the pits, and if I would go with him, it would be a double stack, and then I lost a lot of time. So my only option was to go through, and it worked out pretty good.
And well, great job. And of course, obviously, with that second position, do you feel that you can push on from this and see where you can go in the championship this season alongside your teammate?
Yeah, I hope so. If Maiko also at the next races can score a lot of points, I think we can do a good job.
Great. Well, congratulations on your result. Good job. And that was Bottor Men's Simon, our second place finisher. Great job.
Yeah, good job.
So next we have our race winner. We have Kai, KJ Elting.
Finally winning.
Excellent job. Finally winning.
Last season 4 times on track.
Yeah, not 4 times, it was 2 times, wasn't it? Or
yeah, Matthias, we know.
Good job.
Finally.
But of course, Kai, great job. Got the pole position, got the race win, and fastest lap as well. The Grand Slam indeed. So talk us through that race for you. How was that? Because you seemed like you had that under control.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi was shut down before the quali, so I had to restart everything really quick. So I managed to put 1 lapper in and got pole, luckily. Then the start, Monster was alongside me, and I just think wait, what happened? I let him go. I don't want to take the risk, so I let him go. I just follow him in the DRS and the slipstream. And on 1 lap, I got close enough to him. I went to the outside of him. I want to go around the outside, but he said to me he didn't see my wet ring, so he turned into me, and yeah, he spun, I think. But we have the problem solved in the chat, so.
Yeah, I was going to ask your thoughts on that one, because obviously from our perspective, it looked like you'd had enough of a car in front of Monster, and obviously as it turns into on the left-hand side, it kind of cuts across, and perhaps we felt Monster could have probably yielded to you. Was that your thoughts on that one? Did you feel that perhaps you had enough of your car in front to stay ahead?
Yeah, it was difficult. He took the white line, but suddenly he just went over the curb, and I was really slow over the curb, so I tried to avoid him, but we had minimal contact. I had also no wing damage, so I tried the best I could, but yeah, I'm really sorry for him. He deserved the win as well.
And of course, when the safety car came in, it came at the worst time for you almost. But what was going through your mind at that point? Because fortunately, you were able to go round and still make the stop. But at the time, it must have felt like a race had been robbed from you.
I was thrilling. My engineer said, "Okay, calm down. We still have the gap to pit." And I was looking, and I thought maybe Simon and Joran also pit, but they stay out. So I was hoping that I could in front of Joran at least, and that worked out perfectly. And Simon don't fight me on the straight, so I was lucky to pull away.
That's a great job. And of course, now with that win and the fastest lap, you are now leading the Drivers' Championship. You've overtaken your rival and our current defending champion, Thomas, who we'll speak to in just a moment. What are your thoughts on that? Are you happy with the start you've made this season? Because you've got 2 pole positions, you've got a win, a second place, and at the moment you look very, very fast. So do you feel that you can win the Drivers' Championship this season?
It's going to be tough. There is a lot of... I think Vel has never been competitive like this, so... next week we're Spain, and it's going to be a tough season for me. Also Monster picking the pace up. And yeah, don't forget other guys. I think the top 8 or 10 is just so close, and every week it's difficult to predict. Yeah.
Well, that's absolutely fine. And of course, best of luck to you for the rest of the season, Kyle. Looking forward to seeing more top performances from you the rest of the season. Now that you've got the first one out of the way, hopefully more wins will come.
I hope also.
So last but certainly not least, of course, as earlier was very, very disgruntled by what happened earlier on. Now, Thomas, hopefully you've sort of been able to calm down a little bit. Can we get your thoughts on the race? Because it was quite a mixed bag for you, but nonetheless still managed to get a podium. So what was your thoughts on the race?
Yeah, I just was stuck behind Tim. I was faster, but I was just too slow on the straights. And then, yeah, with P3, I'm happy in Bahrain. Not a good track for me. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this result. And I see I have a new championship rival in the form of Kai. So yeah, very happy.
And of course, you mentioned earlier that race-long battle with Tim, which obviously saw you guys have a bit of an incident there. What was your take on that one? Because it seemed like you were battling fairly fairly, but then unfortunately Tim ended up being forced to go very wide and control the car, and it really upset him. But what was your thoughts on that incident?
Yeah, I just lost the car. I mean, I cannot do anything if I lose the car. And then he doesn't have to scream like me, like a child in the chats. So I don't understand. I just lost the car, so that's my opinion.
No, it's fine. I mean, I understand that, because throughout the race we saw that quite a lot, where guys were getting very close together. Of course, we just mentioned with Kai that incident with Monster earlier on, and that stuff, we did see that happen quite a few times. Unfortunately, from what we saw, it just seemed like one of those incidents where both you guys just came together. We couldn't really attribute blame either way for it, so it's just unfortunate. But obviously the stewards will have a look at that and see what they have to say. But nonetheless, of course, now as you've mentioned, of course, you have a new championship rival in Kai. Of course, we mentioned Kai as one of the contenders earlier on.
So again, I will
okay, no problem. That's absolutely fine, no problem. Thank you for talking to us. Well, yeah, so almost cut rugby short, but if you've got to go, you've got to go. So, Matthias, what are your final thoughts on
who has the podium, Monster or FIFA?
FIFA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so what are your final thoughts on the race, Matthias, before we close out the broadcast?
It's been a really good race with lots of action and emotions, as we see in the chat of the league. But I think it's been a good race with the good action we needed to see. Also, the late safety car brought chaos, so with Simon backing up the pack, and which caused absolutely havoc. Might be a bit dangerous from him, but it still has been lots of fun to watch, and I hope on the next good and plentiful of action in the next round in Spain. So I hope we'll have a good race.
Absolutely agree with that one. Yeah. My thoughts exactly. It was a great race to see, plenty of action, of hopefully to see more to come. And of course, guys, those of you watching, thank you very much for joining us. Of course, remember we are live on Twitch now. It's twitch.tv/Formula_Euro_league, and you can also follow us on YouTube as well. So if you're watching this race on YouTube, you can know that we are live on Twitch now. So make sure to tune in for the race this time next week. So all that's left to say is it looks like we've got ourselves a championship battle starting to form. Will it be red? Will it be pink? Will it be Thomas, or will it be Kai so far? Or will we see some new contenders join the fight? All that's left to say is I'm Adam Burns, and thank you once again, Matthias, for hosting the stream. We'll see you in the next Formula Euroleague Grand Prix. Good night.